Hey rock stars. Well, as many of you know, J-Rock Therapy Academy is dedicated to behavioral health literacy and education around the globe. Some of you may know that this month, October, is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I'll be honest with you, just so you know, disclaimer, this video is not perfectly organized and planned out and produced. Usually I use my newsroom producing experience to produce my videos and think about what I want to say. And this is just kind of off the cuff, so just excuse me. I'm gonna look at some notes that I wrote down because I just wanted to get it out there. But the month of October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You might not have known this, but National Domestic Violence Awareness Month started back in 1987. And interestingly enough, domestic violence did not become a crime until 1994, when Congress passed an act as a federal act outlawing domestic violence, making it illegal. Now this is what's really interesting to me. So some of you know that I've been invited to compete as Miss Austin in the Texas International Regency pageant coming up in 2023. And my advocacy platform is domestic violence awareness, family violence prevention, and this is the one that I really love that I coined functional relationship literacy, because I feel like we focus so much on all the red flags and what to be careful of the red flags and what to watch out for. We forget about the green flags and what do functional, healthy relationships look like, and when are we being a walking red flag and when are we being a green flag, because we can all be any one of them at any point in time. All of our relationships are filled with cycles of rupture and repair, but the rupture should not be devastating or incredibly harmful. And that's all on a spectrum, because a lot of people say, well, all families are messed up, or all families are crazy, or all families are dysfunctional. Yeah, there is some underfunctioning in every relationship, in every family, but there is a spectrum. Some are way more severe than others, some are way more low to moderate, and some are nearly just terminal, you know, in healthcare terms. Some are just like stage 4, like that entire system of thinking in relationships is terminal. There's nothing you can do, and the few people that get out and they're cycle breakers will be the ones that start the new system, right? So 1994, this was just made illegal. But one of the things I love about the advocacy platform that I am on is that I want to dispel like kind of the myth of like, oh, domestic violence is like the angry man that comes home in the A-line t-shirt, popularized or popularly known as wife beaters, and you know, he's in a drunken rage and he's hitting and battering the family, or you know, that kind of thing. I want to dispel that stereotype, because first of all, violence is defined as strength of emotion or unpleasant destructive force. So there are forms of domestic violence that you probably don't even think about. Domestic violence can be throwing this little good morning mug that I have. This could be that could be throwing this across the room or slamming it down, you know, violently. It can be even things like, you know, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, making statements that are highly passive aggressive, or gaslighting, making someone question their own sanity, question their own memories, question their own reality. It can be blame shifting. As soon as someone wants to bring up a point to you, you want to blame it on them or say, well, you do the same thing, you know, so that things can never be accountable or addressed. And that's a type of insidious microaggression, slow drip emotional terrorism. And that is a form of domestic violence, you know? I even talk to people about like, are you an angry cleaner? Like you go around cleaning, but you're slamming doors and slamming drawers and you know, stomping stuff down, or stonewalling and giving the silent treatment as a form of punishment, which activates our nervous system, that abandonment trauma, that abandonment wound, or that abandonment fear that we all have, because our primal brain is used to being in community. So when we're left, or when we're ghosted, or when we're abandoned, it feels like we're going to be left for dead, because our primitive brain, our early ancestors knew that we had to survive and coexist in community. Okay? So when you think about domestic violence, I don't want you just to think about that stereotype anymore. And I don't want you just to think about it being one particular gender, because there are absolutely women that are domestically violent, and oh, she just gets a little heated sometimes, and oh, she's just kind of crazy and all this. No, that's no excuse. Violence is violence. Oh, they have post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, but everybody with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD or CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, is not physically violent or verbally violent or abusive. You know, that can include things like, you know, because all domestic violence is about power and control. All abuse is about power and control. So that includes the physical abuse that we talked about, the emotional, the mental, but also spiritual. Not exactly sure where that cut off, but what I was basically saying is that when you think about domestic violence, if you don't take anything else away from this public service announcement from J-Rock Therapy Academy, it's to not only limit it to thinking about the stereotypical form of violence, to stereotyping it to one particular gender, race, or age, to stereotyping it to one form like physical, whereas it can be financial, it can be spiritual, it can be emotional, it can be psychological, it can be medical abuse, like abusing someone's right or access to medicine, or wanting to try and keep them sick all the time and needing you, things like that. It can be sexual abuse. It can be many different forms. And I also want you to remember that there are resources available if you know someone struggling with it, or if you yourself are struggling with, toxic relationship patterns. There's a national domestic violence hotline, which you can call. It's an 800 number. You can text them anonymously. You can call them anonymously 24/7. There is in Texas, Safe Alliance. You can call or text them. And it doesn't have to be just because that you're getting physically hit. It could be, gosh, I just feel like my girlfriend is just constantly trying to manipulate me and gaslight me and get me to second guess myself and get me to be dependent on her. And it just feels really unhealthy. Or when she gets really upset, she pushes me. Or when he really gets upset, he slams things down or he threatens me, whatever it may be. Okay. Safe Alliance is there. National Domestic Violence Hotline is there. And then here's what you probably don't know about. It's called loveisrespect.org. You call them 24/7 or text them anonymously just to talk about what are functional, healthy relationship dynamics, or how do you, in a functional, healthy way, solve relationship problems or issues, okay? Subscribe to our YouTube page, J-Rock Therapy Academy. Subscribe at our website. The website handle will be changing soon to just J-Rock Therapy Academy, but right now it's jrocktherapyinstitute.com. Subscribe for updates for our blogs. They're not always monthly. They're just blogs. They come out when they come out. Find us on Instagram, J-Rock Therapy. Find us on Twitter. Find us on LinkedIn. Kind of on TikTok. I'm getting better with that. And just know that you're not alone, and that behavioral health literacy is the wave of the present and the future. And I am so honored to be pioneering this movement across the globe. Schools, first responders, colleges, families, individuals, groups. It's like Mother Teresa said. Somebody asked her, how do I change the world? At least it was said that this conversation happened. How do I change the world? She said, go home and love your family. So you go home and you love your family. Hug your family tight. Take good care of the ones right in your domain. And as you do that, it causes a ripple effect of change. Intergenerational healing, nutritional psychology, and trauma recovery are my areas of specialization as a neuropsychotherapist. Find me on Psychology Today if you're interested in hearing more, or keep an eye out and an ear out for me on NPR Radio and CBS Austin. All right, be kind to yourself and those around you. Get out and rock your recovery, rock your wellness, and rock the day. J-Rock Therapy Academy.